The Last Lesson. By Alphonse Daudet. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. 1. Why was the narrator anxious that morning? Answer. He hadn't prepared for a grammar test on participles. 2. What does this tell you about the narrator's attitude toward school? Answer. He was careless and irregular in his studies. 3. What does the mention of scolding reveal about M. Hamel's character? Answer. He was a strict but concerned teacher. 4. Why might participles be significant in the context of learning French? Answer. Grammar signifies the foundation of any language. 5. What can be inferred about the narrator's academic performance? Answer. He was not a diligent or confident student. 6. Evaluate the narrator's self-awareness in this moment. Answer. He's aware of his ignorance, though still hesitant to act responsibly. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist, and hurried off to school. 1. What tempted the narrator to skip school? Answer. The outdoors, birds, sunlight, and Prussian soldiers' drills. 2. What theme of the story does this extract reflect? Answer. The conflict between duty and distraction. 3. How does this sentence reveal the narrator's change? Answer. He shows a rare sense of responsibility. 4. What does the word resist suggest about his mindset? Answer. He is beginning to value education. 5. What role do external temptations play in the story's progression? Answer. They highlight what students take for granted. 6. Assess the effectiveness of the contrast used here. Answer. It emphasizes the narrator's personal growth amid changing circumstances. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle, which could be heard out in the street. But now it was all so still. 1. How was the atmosphere different on that day? Answer. The usual bustle was replaced by solemn silence. 2. What does this change signify in the story? Answer. The seriousness of the day's lesson. 3. How does Daudet use auditory imagery here? Answer. To show contrast and deepen emotional impact. 4. What does this silence foreshadow? Answer. The loss of freedom to learn French. 5. Why is the silence compared to Sunday morning? Answer. It evokes a tone of reverence and finality. 6. Analyze the narrator's reaction to the change. Answer. He feels surprised and possibly guilty for not appreciating school before. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen, but everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. 1. What does the narrator mean by counted on the commotion? Answer. He relied on the usual chaos to sneak in. 2. What literary device is used in comparing the quiet to Sunday morning? Answer. Simile, suggesting stillness and seriousness. 3. How does this line reflect his usual behavior? Answer. He often arrived late and unnoticed. 4. What change does the silence represent? Answer. A shift in values due to political events. 5. What broader theme does this extract relate to? Answer. The neglect of education until it's too late. 6. Evaluate the impact of this realization on the narrator. Answer. He begins to feel the weight of missed opportunities. M. Hamel was wearing his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. 1. Why was M. Hamel dressed so formally that day? Answer. It was a special and solemn occasion, his last French lesson. 2. What does his attire symbolize? Answer. Respect for the language and his role as a teacher. 3. What tone does this extract convey? Answer. Formality, respect, and sadness. 4. How does the narrator perceive M. Hamel through this description? Answer. He sees him with new admiration and respect. 5. What does this say about M. Hamel's dedication? Answer. He honored his role till the very end. 6. Analyze the significance of inspection and prize days. Answer. It highlights how important and ceremonious this day truly was. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. 1. What does the narrator refer to as easy? Answer. M. Hamel's French lesson on grammar. 2. Why does everything suddenly feel easy to him? Answer. He's finally focused and values the lesson deeply. 3. What change does this indicate in the narrator? Answer. A newfound appreciation for learning. 4. What irony is present in this realization? Answer. He understands now, but it's too late. 5. How does this relate to the theme of regret? Answer. He regrets not paying attention earlier. 6. Evaluate the narrator's intellectual capability based on this. Answer. He was capable but lacked motivation before. Poor man. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. And now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. 1. What emotion does the narrator feel for M. Hamel here? Answer. Pity and respect. 2. Why were the old men present in the classroom? Answer. To show respect for the teacher and language. 3. What realization dawns upon the narrator? Answer. The gravity of losing their language and identity. 4. How do the villagers' actions add to the story's message? Answer. They show collective regret and reverence. 5. What does this scene reflect about community and language? Answer. Language binds communities, its loss is deeply felt. 6. Analyze the phrase, poor man, in this context. Answer. It conveys sympathy for a dedicated, unappreciated teacher. Ah, that's the great trouble with Alsace, she puts off learning till tomorrow. 1. Who says this and why? Answer. M. Hamel, criticizing the people's negligence of their language. 2. What does this line reveal about Alsace's attitude? Answer. Complacency and procrastination in learning. 3. How does this statement relate to the broader political context? Answer. It hints at cultural erosion under foreign rule. 4. What literary device is used in this line? Answer. Personification, Alsace is given human traits. 5. What theme does this line highlight? Answer. Importance of valuing culture before it's lost. 6. Evaluate the tone of M. Hamel's comment. Answer. Bitter yet honest, filled with patriotic disappointment. Your parents were not anxious to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills, so as to have a little more money. 1. What is M. Hamel criticizing here? Answer. Parental neglect toward their children's education. 2. What social issue does this reflect? Answer. Poverty-driven choices that sacrifice education. 3. How does this connect to the theme of the story? Answer. Education is undervalued until threatened or taken away. 4. What tone is evident in M. Hamel's words? Answer. Frustration mixed with regret. 5. How might the students feel upon hearing this? Answer. Ashamed and regretful. 6. Evaluate the validity of M. Hamel's criticism. Answer. It's justified, short-term gain cost long-term loss. We've all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. 1. Who is being addressed here? Answer. The students and the villagers of Alsace. 2. What does reproach mean in this context? Answer. To blame or criticize oneself for past neglect. 3. What is the narrator admitting through this line? Answer. Collective guilt for taking French lightly. 4. How does this enhance the story's emotional depth? Answer. It reflects shared remorse and accountability. 5. What tone does the line carry? Answer. Reflective and somber. 6. Evaluate the line's thematic importance. Answer. Central to the message of regret and lost opportunity. Then, from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical. 1. What is M. Hamel's opinion of the French language? Answer. He believes it is beautiful, clear, and logical. 2. Why does he express such admiration now? Answer. It's a final tribute before the language is banned. 3. What tone is reflected in his speech? Answer. Passionate and emotional. 4. How does this statement reflect nationalism? Answer. It celebrates the native language as a cultural treasure. 5. What is the irony in M. Hamel's praise? Answer. The language is being taken away just as its value is realized. 6. Evaluate the significance of this tribute. Answer. It emphasizes language as identity and pride. When people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. 1. What metaphor is used in this line? Answer. Language is described as a key to their prison. 2. What does the metaphor suggest about language? Answer. It's a tool for freedom, resistance, and identity. 3. What does M. Hamel imply about colonization? Answer. Losing language means losing autonomy and spirit. 4. How does this quote relate to the story's central theme? Answer. It underlines the role of language in cultural survival. 5. What does this reveal about M. Hamel's values? Answer. He deeply values language and liberty. 6. Evaluate the power of this statement. Answer. It's a powerful call for linguistic and cultural resilience. He had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, bi, bo, boo. 1. What does this line reveal about M. Hamel? Answer. He was determined and disciplined till the end. 2. What does babies chanted signify? Answer. A symbolic and touching portrayal of language learning. 3. What is the emotional impact of this classroom scene? Answer. It's nostalgic and heartbreaking. 4. How does this line capture the story's essence? Answer. It blends dignity with sorrow in the face of loss. 5. Why is it significant that the entire curriculum is covered? Answer. It shows respect for knowledge and tradition. 6. Evaluate the role of structure in the final lesson. Answer. It emphasizes order, purpose, and emotional closure. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen, but, of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window I saw my classmates, already in their places, and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. Questions and answers. What atmosphere does the narrator describe in the classroom? Answer. The classroom was unusually silent and solemn. Why had the narrator expected commotion in the class? Answer. He wanted to sneak in late unnoticed, as he often did. What does the comparison to Sunday morning imply? Answer. It suggests a quiet, serious, and reverent atmosphere. What can you infer about M. Hamel's personality from this extract? Answer. He was strict and disciplined, symbolized by the iron ruler. How does the silence reflect the theme of the story? Answer. It shows the gravity of losing one's language and culture. Evaluate the narrator's state of mind upon entering the class. Answer. He feels anxious and surprised by the unusual stillness. Thank you. Prepared by K. Rajendra Prasad.